Hello, everyone. Carter and I are back. We're going to be doing a daily upload on each of the teams heading into this lock-in tournament. We're going to be talking there before and after, given the preseason and what we're going to be expecting here. Um, I'm pretty excited. I know Carter's pretty excited. But Carter, do you want to bring us in? What's the first team we're talking about?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the first teams we're talking about is definitely one of the teams that have made the most changes this offseason, and maybe arguably one of the teams that made some of the biggest changes this offseason. Definitely not the biggest, but one of the biggest. That being Nadeshot's own 100 Thieves. They were a
Interesting.
team. Yeah, they were a team that kind of had very disappointing results last summer.
Hmm.
Didn't really have a whole lot of superstar pieces other than their top laner, who has consistently been a superstar for the team. Uh, but they're kicking into gear this season, and they have a really, really cool roster to look at.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, their roster has, as you said, besides the top layer, entirely changed. But it's not a roster we haven't seen before, right? It's
It's
just
not,
Golden Guardians
no,
besides their
it is,
top laner.
yeah, Nadeshot, being the 100 thief he is, pulled the ultimate heist and stole four members of Golden Guardians' previous roster. We're looking at I apologize, let me pull up their names so I do not forget them. We're looking at a roster of Someday in the top lane, like I mentioned, their
Right,
superstar top laner, and
right.
four pieces that existed on Golden Guardians being their jungler Closer, their mid laner Demonte, their AD carry FBI, and their support Huhi.
Now, I mean, so I think a lot of people need to hear this because Golden Guardians didn't actually end up making it to Worlds, so a lot of people may not have seen this as much. But they were looking like one of the top half teams in the LCS last year.
They definitely were. And I mean, there's an argument to say that the LCS for the first time last summer implemented a new format for the finals. There's an argument to be made that if they had not done that, Golden Guardians could have gone to Golden Guardians at the time could have gone to Worlds. Uh, of
Hmm.
course, as one of the biggest upsets in recent history, Golden Guardians went 3-0 versus a very promising TSM featuring Bjergsen, Doublelift, and Biofrost, as
Yeah.
well as Broken Blade, who was a really, really great top laner at the time.
Oh, of course.
They beat them 3-0, and TSM got them in the losers bracket that was recently implemented that summer. But like
Yeah.
without that, Golden Guardians definitely could have gone even further than they did.
Yeah, and we have to
Uh,
remember when that happened too, is that TSM pulled off one of the most ridiculous comeback stories we've ever seen in the LCS, if not the most ridiculous. And they almost didn't do it. They had to reverse sweep Golden Guardians. They were down 2-0 in that second
they were
series.
sweating for it. I mean, if you look at it that way, in that summer finals, I guess you could say Golden Guardians beat TSM in 5 games, and TSM only beat Golden Guardians in three. So the
Yeah.
overall record still goes to this previously Golden Guardians roster.
And even after, right, TSM won, Doublelift took that post game interview, and I remember him saying, you know, he didn't explicitly say Bjergsen kind of carried them, but there was definitely an aspect of that, along with the speak of BB combo top lane, because he had to admit FBI was the better ADC. He just could not beat FBI. It's super frustrating to watch. Me being a TSM fan, that double lift, one of if not the most winning LCS player based off LCS trophies, could not outlane FBI.
Yeah, I mean, FBI has been so good for so long now. You look at his success in the OPL as well, paired with support Huhi, who, funnily enough, has played on 100 Thieves in the support role before.
Hmm.
Didn't get a whole lot of success there, but with this new roster, is definitely looking like he will. As well as like when Huhi played at support for 100 Thieves, he was just slotted into the role after a disappointing mid lane season, I think on CLG it was, and that
Okay.
you could definitely see on Golden Guardians, who he really kind of understood what it like was to play support and got a lot better at it. So
Hmm.
this who he 2.0 is coming back on 100 Thieves. With his new friend FBI, who, like Doublelift said, I think the exact quote Doublelift was like, Bjergsen was like carrying TSM because FBI and Huhi are just such a gross bot lane to watch play. and like a large part of that is due to their synergy. Huhi and FBI are some of have some of the best synergy in the LCS.
Hmm.
And let's not forget, though, that another part of that team's success is one of the best junglers in the leagues being Closer.
Yeah.
Closer was one of Golden Guardian's import slots. I think 100 Thieves is opting to go with the imports of. I don't know if Someday is an import still, actually, based on residential rules. But the two
Hmm.
kind of imported players that they have were Closer and Someday. And
Hmm.
Closer was such a good jungler, arguably the best aggressive jungler that the league had to show.
Yeah, I mean, Closer, I remember he was, I think, the number one aggressive jungler, and the only time he got beat was Santorin on Lilia when they invaded on Nocturne. And then,
I think you're thinking of the C9
am I
game
thinking a
on.
C9 game?
Yes, I
Okay,
think you're right.
yeah.
That was the gross where Blabber just tried and
Yes.
could not.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
Closer. I don't know if you remember. Closer had the most. I think I don't remember correctly because Olaf was such a strong champion that particular
Hmm.
summer. But
Hmm.
Closer, I think, was in contention for having the best Olaf in the LCS. And when Olaf is like a picker ban champion in that state, being the best player at that champion really tells you like how good Closer is at picking up champions and playing them to their fullest capabilities.
Oh, 100%. And off a recent Travis Gafford video that I'm sure you've seen as well, the top expected junglers and champions all around have started to show up. And Olaf is that top tier jungler right now. He has
Uh,
the highest win rate.
you cannot escape the Viking.
Yeah, so I think we're really going to have to take a very good look at Closer. But when it comes down to it, right? Golden Guardians didn't win last year. I think they
They did
played really
not.
well, but they didn't win. So now we're looking at 100 Thieves, and we see that Hanser is basically subbed out for Someday, but it's just a different team.
It is. And looking at that exchange, like I mentioned before, Someday for so long has been almost inarguably the best top laner in the league. And that's
Hmm.
not to like speak bad of Hanser. Hanser is like a good player in his own right. Hanser having many LCS titles
Yeah.
under his belt, my apologies. But Someday is just so dirty on a team that my apologies, Nade Shot has so frequently looked so bad. Like 100 Thieves
It's
so
true though.
often. Yeah, hey, man, it might hurt Nate Shot's feelings, but I won't regret saying it. 100 Thieves has looked so bad these past few splits, and
Yeah.
Someday, amidst all of it, has looked so good. Every time they put Someday on a tank champion, you can hear like the casters crying of being like, no! Some days you're only out in the game. And there's like a reason for that. Someday has been so
Yeah.
good, so
Yeah.
consistently at playing carry top laners. And he's not bad at playing tanks either. It's not like it's a problem that Someday is like this Huni player who can only play carries and lacks the ability to play tanks. Someday can play either. It's just always been like Someday's responsibility to win 100 Thieves
Yeah.
every game they win. So when you put him on a tank champion, he loses that kind of agency. But surrounding Someday with a stronger roster really allows Someday to like show his pool, really.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who plays a lot of jungle, if I see a tank top lane matchup, either one or both of them, typically you stay away from it because no matter how fed or not fed that tank gets, it's doing mostly the same thing. And I think they've been shooting themselves in the foot with Someday staying on those. But something else I want to bring up is recently his Aatrox, although it doesn't have the best win rate, and I don't think we can attribute that to him, if we're being honest,
I mean,
is
you
his
can
most
in some
played.
part, but
In
yeah,
some part, but going back to top champions to get into this next season with in this lock-in tournament, we've been seeing Aatrox as the number one top lane pick as well. So we're just
yeah,
really seeing 100 Thieves start to really line up well
yeah.
in this new
And I
season.
guess not that it's necessarily the worst change in the world given 100 Thieves' previous mid lane situation,
Hmm.
but the player that kind of I'll say is the weakest link in all of this is one Demonte in the mid lane. Like I mentioned, Demonte is maybe the fifth best player in this squad. And admittedly, that's nothing like too terrible at Demonte. I remember Demonte. I think no, I don't. I don't remember. Demonte did play on Echo Fox back when Echo Fox was a team,
I can
and
check that.
Demonte is not a bad player by any means.
No,
Demonte,
not at all.
along with Pobelter for a long time, was one of only two local North American mid laners to be able to make it in North
Mhm.
America. And
Mhm.
when the onus for that is playing against people like Power of Evil, Bjergsen back in the day,
Yep.
Jensen back in the day. I mean, Jensen's still playing, but like
Yeah.
looking at those players, if you can like hang with them and not be one of the best mid laners, like of course you're pretty good. It's just kind of looking at someone. It's like someone just has to be the worst player on any team, right? Like you
Yeah.
can look at like there are five players on a team. One of them is the best. One of them is the second best. And you go down that list. One of them is the worst, and it just so happens in this instance to possibly be Demonte. But that doesn't mean Demonte is bad by any means. It just kind of means
Yeah.
that like Demonte is maybe the least important part to Hundred Thieves' success.
Yeah, I mean, take it another way, right? Is he might be top 5 on 100 Thieves. Fine. Rip. But but he also might just be top half of the mid laners in the LCS right now. If he
For sure.
continues to get better as he has been, as you mentioned, he was on Echo Fox. I just checked on that. He's only been getting better these past 2 years, and he's a riot to watch, right? Like he is
Oh,
so much fun. It's
and he's
so
and he's
hype.
like such a personality as well. Like it's Tanner time is one of the funniest LCS memes that have come of recent
Oh,
day.
it's great.
And like in addition to that, like maybe Demonte isn't the best player in this particular roster of five, but like look at who he's replacing. Like
Ryoma.
People give
Ryoma.
Ryoma a lot of they talk a lot of trash about Ryoma, maybe for deserved reasons based on Ryoma's performance and gameplay.
Mhm.
And like, there is
Mhm.
no world in which Demonte is not a significant upgrade over Ryoma. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe Demonte isn't the strongest performer on this team, but like clearly, Hundred Thieves have upgraded each individual role in almost every way.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think moving forward, we're going to be seeing this team as being one of the top teams moving into the middle split of the season. I know we more or less have one long season now, which is going to be interesting. It's the first time for us. Pretty exciting stuff. But I think at least in this first half, and maybe we just bring it back, maybe just look at the lock in. I think we're looking at them for contenders for the winner of this lock in. Maybe I eat my words. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was
But
Yeah, my thoughts are like I think Hundred Thieves have a very good shot to do very well. Uh, I don't have the exact same faith as you do that they're contenders to win it all. I think the kind of power curve for the LCS has
mm,
gone way up since we last met last summer.
mm-hmm,
You have players in the LCS now like Perks, like
fudge.
Fudge, exactly. You
Yeah,
have Power of Evil, who still is performing better than Demonte. You have Jensen, who's still performing better than Demonte, and like all
yeah,
of those teams have also been upgraded. So
yeah,
like, while I think Hundred Thieves are a serious contender to do super well, it's one of those matters of like, there's a reason that they got stopped last summer, and we'll just have to see if they can kind of fix those problems enough to persevere this
yeah.
split, or whether it'll be the same story of like Hundred Thieves, formerly Golden Guardians. Seriously strong team, just not in that top echelon.
Yeah, and I think if I'm looking at one player too, I mean, obviously I'm looking at Demonte because it's fun,
Because
but
it's Tanner time.
because it's Tanner's time. But if I'm looking at one player who I really expect to pull ahead and really make this team into what it can be, I think we talked about earlier, it's still FBI. That synergy is too crazy, and FBI has shown time and time again that he can carry a team, or he is going to very nearly try.
Yeah.
What I just don't know is how he's going to do with Samira, but I can't imagine it's going to go poorly. I think that's a pick
No.
ban anyway. So
I think that's pretty fair. I think for my money, I'm still looking at Closer over here. I think the jungle role has only gone up in power, and Closer being such an aggressive jungler and such a huge catalyst for Golden Guardian's success, I
mhm,
think he's going to have a lot of the onus of really dominating for his team. That being said, though, I also think it'll be really interesting to see how Someday plays out in this roster that has been significantly upgraded since
yeah,
last split. So who knows? Maybe Someday really is still once and again the only hope for Hundred Thieves. I don't think that'll be the case. So if I'm looking at a player for my money to like succeed, I think it's going to be
closer.
Closer. But
Yeah,
I think it'll be between Closer and Someday. But there's
that's
no
fair.
doubt that FBI also super good choice for that. That
Yeah,
kind of just goes to show you how strong Hundred Thieves are coming into this offseason. That you can have three different picks for like the best player on the team, and all of them have a good reason to be picked as such.
Yeah, it's just a well-balanced team. Well, I think we're done here with our quick segment on 100 Thieves. We're going to see all of you tomorrow. In the meantime, please stop by the website. It should be up and running fairly soon, or you can just follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. All of those links will be below. And see you again tomorrow.